There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour. No, it's crazy, right? It's money everywhere. It's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino is the Name.
Hey, yo, what's going on right now? You're watching Casino is the Name, and I have a very, very important conversation that we need to have about government contracts. Okay, so one of the things that I know that is happening, and it is happening really, really frequently, and that is people, companies are doing things that are outside of what is in the contract. So when doing government contracts, there's a lot of things that can happen, a lot of changes that or realizations about things that may take place. Maybe the government realizes that they need something else done, or that the contract that they currently have in place doesn't cover some other things that they may want to have. So if you have a contract and you win a contract and it says that you're going to do one thing and the government is saying, hey, well, we want to add some other things to it, please be compensated or request for compensation or an adjustment or amendment of that particular thing and be compensated for it. If they agree on whatever it is that they're saying that they want, and they're asking for more than what is in black and white for you guys to be doing within a certain amount of reason. I can understand small things, but some things, some requests may be major, major undertakings. And even small things, I would say, don't do it. Small things can become big things, and I know that there's a lot of confusion out there about how these things should be, but legally, what you're binded to is what you should be doing. Anything extra needs to go through a review process or some kind of amendment. There are people who are constantly adjusting their government contracts without any type of written agreement that is per the contract or PWS or whatever. So you need to have those amendments or those changes documented and made official, and not just an email saying, hey, we're going to do this. Like, you need to make it official so that you can also then be compensated for the change, okay? I'm seeing a lot of people say, hey, we have no other choice. We have to do these things this way, or I haven't ever seen anybody not do this or not adjust based off of an agreement they made doing government contracts. And I am here to tell you, okay, first of all, let me tell you a little bit about myself, okay? Was I doing government contracts forever? No. But my background, I was an auditor for Inspector General, for the Office of Inspector General. Not necessarily saying which organization, I guess I could, but I was an auditor for the Office of Inspector General. The Inspector General is the highest level of audit in the world. We have the highest standard of quality out of everyone because we are the Inspector General. We were IG, because I'm no longer part of IG, which is why I can speak on this, okay? So being part of the Inspector General, we, as well as being an auditor, we were looking at performance audits. We did not, well, my group didn't necessarily do financial audits. Now, there could be some financial things that come up that maybe you were audited by they had an audit done by the Big Four, or they paid for some kind of assurance services, excuse me, like an organization. Let's say it was Department of Veteran Affairs. The Department of Veteran Affairs may pay one of the Big Four accounting firms to come in and audit and do it, not an audit, but, well, yeah, do an audit and and also get their financial statements prepared and all that kind of stuff. They may outsource all of that kind of stuff. Then there may be a question about a program, and then the inspector general will come in and say, hey, what is this? So the VA has a budget for maybe $800 million for a particular VA hospital. And is that hospital's, I guess, ride program to get veterans to their appointments, how is that program doing? Because we've been getting a lot of complaints. Then IG may come in, and we may look at, and we will look at how much that budget is, and how that money is being spent. Is the program effective? That kind of thing. We're going to look at more performance audits, right? And I'm telling you that the number one thing that we are trained on, I'm talking about at the highest level of the government, we are trained, or I was trained at reading policies and procedures, because that is primarily what I'm looking for. I'm looking to see if you are following the program policies and procedures in order to do or complete the job. Is the government following those procedures? Are the contractors following those procedures? Like what may be impeding them being able to follow those procedures? Is this budget effective? Maybe they need more money. Maybe they need less money. But are these policies and procedures meeting the objective that we were set out to do? And then if they weren't, we would make our suggestions and we would move on. If everything seemed to be fine, then we would also write that up and say, no major issues here. And so these are the things that I was professionally trained on at the highest level. And when I'm telling you that things may be in black and white, these contracts are in black and white. These PWSs are in black and white. These policies and procedures of what the contractor is saying that they're going to do, or that the government requested that the contractor do based on their agreement. And these things are being adjusted slightly, and sometimes not so slightly, sometimes a major, completely alternative adjustment, and the compensation isn't there. Legally, you would be in the wrong by doing something that is not a part of your contract. Legally, right? Let's say the government says, change out these engines in these aircraft, and you have this major contract to change out these engines, and you're changing our engines. And then they say, well, we know you're changing out the engines, but in order to change the engine, or in order to keep this contract for changing the engines, we want you to also change the tires. And some people will say, well, it's only a couple tires, or it's not a major problem, so let me just change some of these tires, right? It's not in your contract, so it's not really official. You go out there and you say, well, I'm being compensated well for changing these engines. We can get some of these tires changed. But it's not a part of your real scope. And what could end up happening is somebody may complain and say, I don't like the brand of tire that y'all changed this to. What are you guys even doing? Why are you changing these tires? And Lord forbid, you change a tire and it blows on a plane landing, and they're saying it's the contractor's fault, and this is outside of their scope anyway. Why were you touching this, right? I promise you, you will be thrown under the bus if you do that, because it is not a part of your scope. Then they may even say, hey, stop installing these engines and focus on the tires, because we're having even more complaints about these tires, so go back and change them to a better quality of tire. Now, all of this is just hypothetical, but what I'm saying is it can impede and take over what you were actually contractually there to do, and can cause more time for you to complete a contract because you're doing all of these other things that were never a part of your original agreement. Okay? I was trained to follow or to read and understand what you or what a government agency was actually supposed to be doing, okay? There's a lot of personal feelings about how much money you're being paid to do a certain thing, so you should be willing to do this other thing or whatever. Don't listen to any of that. And before you start agreeing to other things, I would say consult a lawyer if you do not feel confident in whether or not you know what you're doing or something like that. Consult somebody like my sister, McClaryConsulting.com, okay? She, I don't know if she can still currently do it, but she may be able to do yeah, I'm sure she can do some consulting, because it's not necessarily, she's not representing you in court or anything, because she's in a situation where she can't really represent people right now due to her current role. But consult a lawyer, somebody who understands government contracts, that kind of thing. And, you know, don't just start doing things. Because watch this video, send this video to people who you may know who may be trying to get into government contracts, or who are about to start doing some things that they should not be doing, or that's not a part of their primary scope. Now, when they start saying, okay, let's change the contract, let's put those things in, and let's compensate you for it, then okay, cool, you good to go. But please, please listen, don't go out here and just start doing stuff for free and that's not actually documented for you to do in the actual contract. And it needs to come from the COR or the CO or whoever, the contract officer, the contract, somebody. It needs to come through some kind of official channel. It can't just be somebody who works there and says, yeah, you guys should do this, okay? It needs to be official. Anyway, if you find any value in this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and we out.
I was always focused on the money. I started with nothing. I was born to be an entrepreneur. I'm a real estate investor. Had my own trucking authority. Multiple college degrees. Ex-military. I'm an author. Motivational speaker. Not to mention I'm an accountant. But with all the things that I've done, it was government contracts that truly made me rich.
Yo, what's going on right now? You're watching Casino Is the Name, and if you wanted to know how I started my trucking business, I have an ebook called Big Shot, Hot Shot Volume 1, Own Your Trucking Authority. It's a great book, 5-star reviews. The link will be in the description below. Go get that. Yeah.
Beat me up, Scotty.
Me and her together, we just count it up. Money on my mind, I can't get enough. Don't play with my money, you don't want no beef. Cause I come from the bottom, I come from the street. When she first saw me, she said, who is that? When a man saw me, he called me a threat. I'm the one that really live with a rap. They ain't never did it, they ain't really tried. You say you want to be successful. But what's stopping you? Can't nothing stop you from being successful except for you. You standing in your own way. I came from the bottom. I ain't know nothing but the grind. You can't tell me nothing about that. I caught the bus at Basin Street Projects in Tallahassee, Florida. You hear me? I used to think $1 million would last me my whole life. I'd have made that and spent that. $1 million ain't enough. There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour. You know, it's crazy, right? It's money everywhere. It's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino Is the Name.